What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 77 of EZPZ Podcast, coming at you from Studio EZPZ. We got a great show for you. Joining me this week, Nick.
What's up, guys? I didn't know if you were going to start there. It was like that pause was too pregnant for me.
What's up, Trey? Yeah, I got the three amigos. This is the best kind of cast. Always excited for this. So we're going to be chatting about This Is America, of course, which has the most discussion surrounding it than anything else in the entire freaking world right now, beating out anything Trump tweets about by far. Recapping the food truck throwdown, Fortnite had Thanos this week. I went and saw the Avengers, so I might chat about that. But first, Post Malone shattering the Beatles' previous record for the top 20, the most songs in the top 20, Billboard top 20, which was held for 54 years. What do y'all think about that?
It's crazy, dude. He's doing it, man. Making that money. Making that Beatles money.
So the album is all these tracks. There's an 18-track album that just came out at the beginning of May, I believe. So just a couple weeks ago. What's it called, Nick? Do you know?
Beer Bongs and Bentleys.
Beer Bongs and Bentleys, okay. I always think it's called Bitches and Blondes or Blunts and Blondes. It's B&B, I know that. But 9 songs got in the top 20. That is bonkers. This kid's 22. Post Malone, he looks like a freaking dork now. He really screwed up, man. Like the bangs were like one thing, but now he has the barbed wire across his forehead. Like, what are you, Frankenstein or something? I don't get it.
I've heard he has like a lot of symbolism with his tattoos or whatever, but yeah.
It's just the forehead tattoo I'm not digging. The rest of his tattoos seem fine.
I think a lot of people are off put by like neck and face tattoos, like regardless of what they are, you know, it's just like instantly like marked as a scumbag, you know, just because of culture.
Well, yeah, it's huge in rap. And I mean, have you ever heard of like California sleeves?
No, what's that?
Just like kids these days, they'll get just all tattoos that can show. They're going to start with their hands. They're going to start with their necks. They're going to start with their face.
Who's the guy with 69 all over him?
Yeah, I think his name is legit 69.
I thought that was like, is that not Little Uzi? Am I not?
All of them have it, dude.
He's 69 like on 3 places on his face. Like,
yeah. No, there is an actual rapper named 69 and he has like just 69 all over him. Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's called that because, I don't know, just kids these days want that instant gratification of being able to see a tattoo and it looks badass, you know?
So kind of like to connect to Post Malone to all of these other rappers and like stuff that young people are listening to right now, maybe the only reason he got 9 out of 20 is because
9 out of 18 songs made it in the top 20.
Yeah. So maybe it's just there's a total lack of good music. So it's like when it's something that transcends. So like I think that a lot of the music caters to young generation and a lot of music caters to like an older generation. And this is kind of like the in-between. So I think it's like way more accessible than a lot of the mumble rap and rock that's out there right now. It's just everybody, you know?
Yeah. His album is really solid. It's definitely an album of the year contender for big publications. For me personally, maybe not. His performance at Osheaga in Canada will be a huge factor since it will be like hopefully one of the first times that actually I get to see him because Somerset, I was down and out, hungover horribly.
Yeah.
And then when we went and saw him at Voodoo, so I've seen him twice, they put him on that small stage. So, I mean, yeah. So his performance is going to be a factor for his album of the year, for me at least. And then also, I would say half of the album is phenomenal. Which is I don't know if it's all 9 that are in the top 20.
Probably is.
Well, no, I don't like Candy Paint. Candy Paint is the song that is it was in the last Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Dude, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying it was in the last Fast and Furious, so that's why it's still getting lots of play.
Okay.
That movie was huge. But that album overall is really good. I'm excited for him. I mean, he seems like a legit cool dude. He's been in that Bud Light campaign recently, so he's getting lots of ad revenue from doing just stand-ins for these like ads. He just had that really good performance at Coachella. He was very trash, but he sounded pretty okay. Right. He's charismatic. He's overall just seems like a decent dude. So let's talk about those records that he broke. So the Beatles had 6 tracks in the top 20 And they held that record for 54 years until 1 week prior to Post Malone beating that record, where J. Cole actually, his album KOD, so what's that stand for? Do you know, Nick?
I haven't looked into it to see what I remember.
Kill Our Demons. There's a lot of discussion behind it. Kill Our Demons and stuff, and a lot of his album has to do with addiction. But anyway, so he actually tied the Beatles with 6 tracks, and then 1 week later, he probably was like celebrating, so like, oh my gosh, I tied the Beatles. Post Malone shatters that with 9. So his album actually broke records across the board. Most album streams within the first 24 hours on Spotify, which Spotify is, as we all know, the biggest music streaming service in the entire world with about 71 million total subscribers worldwide.
It's more than YouTube?
So, yeah, it's definitely more than YouTube Red.
Yeah. Well, YouTube Red. I just thought that they got songs up, like music videos and shit up on YouTube, you know? So I figured, like, based on that Living in America song alone, that would be crushing all the people, like, listening, you know? Because a music video is just 3 times as valuable as a song, you know?
Right. Yeah, This Is America thing. Sorry.
Nick actually went pretty deep with the details when it comes to like what people are getting. Oh wait, it wasn't Nick. Sorry, Nick. It was Daniel Turner on episode 71 or 73, just a few back, where he was in town and he went really deep on the details on what you get per stream. And YouTube's is like insanely low. Like you're getting 0.0003% per stream compared to Apple Music, which actually pays the most of the big 3, which is Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. But Spotify is the most subscribers, so that's $10 a month. Paying $10 a month, or if you have if you're a student, it's like $5 a month or something right now.
Right.
But anyway, what I was getting at is, he broke that record. His first album sales were about 450,000, if you count those streaming records. So like if you every 300 album streams or something, it's like 1 album sale. They have like some really crazy math to it. But anyway, this album's killing it. 9 in the top 20, and I think he had 14 of the 18 in the top 200 or top 40. So good for you, Post Malone. Excited to see him again.
So what's interesting about that to me is like, so the Beatles had 6 out of 20 or whatever, and he has like 9 out of 20, but he is nowhere near like the what's the word for it? Like celebritydom that the Beatles had, you know, because like the Beatles would be like coming to the States or whatever, and there would be people waiting at the airport crying and shit. But like, maybe
we're in a different world, you know?
No, I was gonna say that maybe because like celebrities are more accessible with like tweets, like you can get them to respond to you, like you kind of know they're around their whereabouts, so people like go celebrity hunting, you know, so it's like not like such a huge moment when you know exactly where they're going to be outside of their performance, you know? So
I think it is important to, like consider the date factor and like what it was like 50 years ago. Like you're saying, like
way less celebrities, you
compared to now. Yeah, it definitely plays a big role. It's still an awesome record, and I hope he continues
to crush
to do well. Yeah.
Are so you've listened to it, right? Nate?
I've listened to it a couple of times, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the songs were already previously
released. There's like
released.
3 tracks on there that are legit. I was telling Trey before the show that are like legit amazing songs, amazing pop songs that aren't exactly even radio friendly. You can tell they weren't made for the radio. On the other hand, though, there's songs like Candy Paint, Psycho is a really good song, but it's still like radio friendly. Drake is currently the record holder here with the top 200 or Hot 100, I should say. He has 24, Drake does, in the Hot 100. So songs that he's featured on are songs of his own. Right. And then The Weeknd has 18. So Post Malone's doing work there, though. He had 18 songs entering the Hot 100. So all 18 of his were in the Hot 100. That's why I was messing up on it.
Post Malone looks like Chris Pratt got into gangbanging. Like, for real. We'll go up to the next picture. Like, it's for real. Just like...
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Whoops.
Did you see that thing? It was on Netflix. It was a charity event thing. What was it? Who did it?
Hilarity for Charity.
Yes. And did you see his performance where he did Return of the Mac?
Yeah.
Blew my mind. That was awesome.
It was really good. Yeah. Overall, that Netflix special is just okay, I think, but
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
it was fun. It was something else. I'm happy that Seth Rogen had it, and I'm happy him and his wife are doing something cool for Alzheimer's, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
because her mother has Alzheimer's.
Well, she did.
Alzheimer's.
She's dead now.
Oh.
She's a dead mom. Speaking of moms, it's a Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, great. Good segue.
Happy
Not for
Mother's
Joe
Day.
Rogan.
What?
No, I guess for Joe Rogan's
Wife, yeah.
anyway.
Seth Rogen, you mean?
Oh, you said Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
wow. That's where my head's at today.
Heads on Joe Rogan. So yeah, Mother's Day, y'all. What do you got planned? Let's just chat about that real quick.
Going to brunch here in like an hour with families colliding, that kind of thing. It's going to be fun.
Families colliding.
Yeah.
This is what it's like when families collide.
Yeah, my sister just like moved in with her boyfriend, so we got Gail's family coming over, my family. I'm sure that Ryan's mom will be there too, so it's gonna be a lot of moms.
It's good.
Moms.
Get them all in one
Gail's a
spot.
mom, sort of.
A cat mom.
Yeah.
Cat mom.
All right. Well, Nick, what about you? What do you have planned today?
Nothing today. We went out to Perkins yesterday with some fam and had a little brunch. So
Who?
with Shayna's family.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. So I'm gonna be celebrating it with Lydia and her mother and her grandma, eating some good grub. Lydia's gonna be cooking for us. Be fun.
Good times.
Let's get into our topic of the show, though. This is America. Music video. Holy shit.
Dude.
Childish Gambino Donald Glover. He's just doing crazy stuff these days. Getting all political with his music. Compared to, like, Camp, this is just insanely political. I mean, what the heck? He's flipping the script.
Well, do you think it's like a response to like how well Damn did? Like, do you think that maybe he's just trying to ride the hype wave of like being outrageous and political?
I think he actually is very concerned with being a black man in America. I think he's actually, this is like coming from a pure place, an authentic place. He is an artist. He's shown it time and time again. His last album was huge step away from Camp and like just like the funny, goofy rap where he was just rapping about girls and money and parties.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say because he had Awaken My Love, which is in 2016, where he really kind of flipped his whole style a little bit, and he had like I feel like a lot more deeper meaning behind everything.
He's a Grammy Award
came out in
winning
2017, so
yeah, good call.
Yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, though, I mean, still those are instant classic masterpieces. Everything Kendrick puts out is, but even that Black Panther stuff was so good.
I actually heard a song on that, and then I was like, shit, I've never heard this. This is tight as fuck. And then someone's like, it's on the Black Panther soundtrack. I'm like, no!
I know.
Why?
Dude.
I just don't like movie soundtrack shit. You know?
Literally,
It's like,
I
think it's cheap and sell out.
I had the same thing going into it, and it's literally the best soundtrack I've ever heard. I've never even seen the movie.
Man, I listen to movie soundtracks all the time. I listen to Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Minds at work all the time. I listen to video game soundtracks. I listen to a lot of stuff. The Fountain soundtrack is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. Anything John Brion does, so he did Eternal Sunshine and some other stuff.
I saw that movie. I don't remember the soundtrack like standing out. I thought it wasn't not like orchestral.
Orchestral.
I mean, you just get attached to the scenes, and those scenes, like when he first calls Clementine, that phone call song, it's like my most played song of all time.
I was talking about The Fountain.
Oh, The Fountain. I've actually never seen the full movie.
Really?
Which is weird. Yeah, I just got into the soundtrack because Clint Mansell did it. He's done a lot of work with Mogwai, which is one of my favorite instrumental bands.
Yeah, Mogwai's sweet.
Oh man, I love them. I've seen them a few times. And they just came to Woolies a couple years ago, and I ended up going alone, or pretty much alone. I think I went with like Taylor Sparks or something. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm huge into just a select few. The guy that did the soundtrack for Interstellar, I believe he just died. And huge. I like soundtracks. I don't know.
The only one I ever got into a lot was the Donnie Darko one because they had a bunch of cool like 80s songs in it.
I like the 80s ones, like Grosse Point Blank. I listen to that soundtrack all the time, but that soundtrack sounded more like a mixtape than like a lot of soundtracks, in my opinion. But
so
and
this
Space Jam.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, Space Jam. Oh man, I loved Austin Powers soundtrack.
No.
Yeah, I was a kid.
I would
so
have to check it
stupid.
out.
I didn't even really like the soundtrack. I just had it on CD. It's one of those things where it's like when you were a kid, you played video games just because you only had those video games.
Yeah, you only had like 10 CDs, so it's like
right. Yeah.
Sometimes some bad ones got. I had a really bad Hanson album that I just.
What?
It didn't have Bop on it. It's just like.
Dude, I have it. It's called 3-Car Garage, and I loved it.
I don't think that's the one I had.
This time around.
I think maybe that was it.
That was their second album that came out in 2000. It was a really great album. It was their second most successful album. And what are you talking about?
Well,
dude?
that couldn't have been it. But
You should have known that this would bring a lemon hole when talking to.
I know every Hanson recording ever. I actually just watched them do a live recording from 1998 this morning of.
I mean, Sean's actually applying to be a Hanson brother.
I'm part of their fan club. I mean, I don't know.
So you basically are. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm huge into Hanson, man. I love them. I always will too. I will always remember. I'm gonna I'm break out into Jesus singing. But yeah, let's get back on track with This Is America, guys. It came out a week ago, just after his SNL performance.
Yep.
So he's ended up playing Saturday, which is his other new track, and then This Is America on SNL. He got introduced by SZA. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she was actually in the music video towards the end of it. She's like sitting.
We'll get into that when we go clip by clip. Yeah, but yeah, she introduces him on SNL, which is really cool. Yep. She just came out with her, I think it was called Control, that album in 2017. A lot of people heralded it as like the album of the year for them. Lots of publications had it in the top 3-5. So she's been killing it. She's been on the festival circuit since like summer last year. Mm-hmm. She's been headlining, doing work. I didn't ever get into that album. Did you guys at all? SZA's. It's stylized SZA, pronounced, but it's just SZA.
I tried to listen to it, but yeah, I never really got into it too much.
She's very poppy. Like her voice is so poppy.
While we were in the phase of this SNL and their introductions, this is what I was going to bring up before the show that you wanted to wait for the show, but and this will tie into the music video later. But for the song "This Is America," he was introduced by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya, yeah.
From Get Out, the movie Get Out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that'll tie in later when we.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the album or the song came out. The music video gets released right after it. I think it was released that Saturday night. Then we got texts. I had seen it on Twitter or whatever, and then I watched it. That's just before the podcast last week, and now it has 99 million views on YouTube within 1 week, which is really, really crazy. For just to like juxtapose it to something else that's doing very, very. It's been very successful. Like Betrayal by Lil Xan has 170 million views, but it's been out for like a year or so since like last summer. So 99 million in 1 week. Crazy. Super successful. Yeah, let's chat about the music video. It's features Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. Does it even say like who is it? Who is he like? Who is he?
So what I can appreciate about his like performance in this video is he did not try to like shave off any weight or like do anything. I mean, maybe he tried to chunk up a little bit to make it more like relatable or like artistic in some way, but he looks like kind of portly and like really like unshaven and like out of control in it, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think actually looks cool, you know?
I think he looks thin. I mean, he's not like a 6-pack thin, but
he's kind of got a little thing coming over his pants, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is. Isn't he in his like early or late 20s or whatever?
Early 30s.
Early 30s, for sure. So, I mean, you can tell that on his body.
No, man, he's just repping dad bods everywhere. They're coming back.
You guys are way... what are you saying? Like, he looks great.
I'm saying
like
it's
if
good.
You watch another music video of any other rapper, they're either scary skinny or like totally buff.
Right.
They're not going to have a little bit coming over the top of the pants. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's good though, because it's showing confidence, right?
Sure.
That he doesn't give a shit, and that's probably not even that's maybe just one of the other distractions from the video that.
Yeah.
Of all the other things going on.
Yeah, so let's get into that discussion. It features him just dancing, doing dancing moves in an empty warehouse. For the most part, besides like some other things going on in the background. There's scenes, there's situations, there's interactions between people in the background that we're not even pay attention to, because it's always him and maybe some younger dancers behind him imitating him throughout the entire pretty much a short film for this music video. And it's called This Is America for a reason. It's just him kind of portraying his thoughts about what America is for a black man in America, I think. So let's go into the beginning. Shows the guy walk out with the guitar.
Yep.
And then features him dancing towards him. And then he shows that Jim Crow face like that.
Yeah.
Where his one eye is squinting, one eye is wide open, his mouth is like agape. And then he pulls out a gun and then gets into that Jim Crow stance. That famous Jim Crow painting is what we're referencing of. It looks like blackface, of a white man doing blackface. And then he blows that guy's brains out from the back. The guy that's playing the guitar.
Is that referencing anything in particular, or
black on black violence? Right away. That's what I noticed.
Yeah. And also he carefully places the gun on a red towel
that a young kid comes out and picks up. That looks like young Trayvon Martin or somebody,
And the thing here I noticed and that I read a couple articles on was that the body was just dragged away quickly when the gun was placed safely down on this red towel. And it was supposed to be, and the red towel comes up later too, but it's supposed to be representing that red America, Republicans care more about guns than the victims.
Ooh, interesting. Also, the guy that he shoots, the guy playing the guitar, he's supposed to represent a slave because he's dressed poorly, dirtier clothes. He's barefoot. So there's a lot of symbolism, and we could go scene by scene. We don't need to, but yeah, just like you said, Nick, it was really interesting to see the guns getting picked up with these nice red silk cloths or blankets and pillows, guns placed on those pillows or whatever. And it's always a kid picking up the gun. So we'll get into another scene here where, further into we aren't going to go chronologically, but further into it, he gets an AK thrown to him and he just sprays an entire church choir.
Right.
That was the best part of the video, and the symbolism was just so obvious and stuff, just how easily you can just wipe people out. And also, like you were saying, it referenced the Charleston shooting. But that was just so cool to me. That was a really cool scene for sure. Yeah, and then like Nick was saying, that red cloth, and the kid comes up and he gives a gun to the kid, and he just keeps going, keeps dancing, and going along with his life essentially, and that's something else he shows. Nick, what else kind of stood out to you? I'm gonna throw it to you.
There was so much. It's insane. So all the dance moves that we were talking about was supposed to kind of represent a distraction, the entertainment world, and where we were talking about just earlier, all these SoundCloud rappers and stuff, just being crazy and over the top.
Distracting. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So they're dancing and doing all these fun moves and stuff, but in the back is just pure chaos. There's cars on fire, there's riots, there's people running everywhere, people smashing cars,
money flying all over the place.
Yeah,
chickens running the streets.
There's a kid that's just standing on top of a car with a money machine, just shooting out money all over. All the cars, though, too, something to notice, and Nick was sharing a video that was explaining a lot of awesome stuff earlier this morning. But one thing is with the cars, they're all crappier cars. They're not Bentleys, and they're not Camaros or whatever. I don't know, Porsches, Alfa Romeros.
Yeah, they're all 91 Toyota Corollas and shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I'm big into those 90s cars. But I just like all the old shit. Doesn't matter how good it is.
They were saying that it's also symbolism to show how the world hasn't really progressed much with all this violence and.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's been like that since the 90s. Columbine, was that 99? 4/20/99?
Yeah, and you'll see the kids just sitting on their cell phones in the rafters, just staring at their cell phones while the craziness is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you put it well, that it's all just kind of the show up front is kind of a distraction, and everyone's too distracted to
people witnessing it, bystanders, on cell phones. Kids were imitating him too. So like throughout the entire video, he's that cool celebrity. He's that guy you're supposed to pay attention to. He's got the gold chains around his neck. Kids are doing exactly what he's doing. Whatever dance move he does, they do it moments later or just immediately after. And then kids are dancing through the violence. That's how they're coping, learning to cope through dancing or through watching media, through paying attention to all these celebrities.
Mm-hmm. And it was I saw another thing that said something about how quickly, I guess, we forget about these huge tragedies. Like it was like literally he shot somebody and then he just started dancing again and he was all happy. So like I thought that was another cool thing.
Yeah. And those dance moves are all like, it looked like, I don't know the names of them. I'm not even gonna act like I know, but like, you know how the Soldier Boy dance move was so big in like the mid 2000s. I don't think he does the Soldier Boy, but he's doing all these like famous dance moves, doing them very well.
Yeah,
I saw a kid doing something like really famous. Oh, like the hype dance, you know what I'm talking about? So, I mean, that's true. Like there was just a lot of references to other dances in it. So
I'd be interested to see if just throwing it back to Fortnite. I know we've been talking about Fortnite a lot, but if some of those dance moves made into Fortnite, would they want to take a political stance?
No, they're not gonna. Let me tell you that much. They're not gonna.
That's hilarious.
I mean, people don't even get killed in that game.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying people don't even get killed in that game.
Yeah,
so,
true.
I mean, they're not going to put, like, a politically charged statement.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, what people don't die. It's like they're
just beamed back to the bus or something.
Okay, yeah, that's weird. I didn't even think about that. And then one thing that happens in the film, I'm going to keep referencing it as a film because it really is a short film. A guy jumps off, and it looks like a white guy jumps off a ledge, commits suicide. He's like the only white guy in the entire video. I might be wrong, but it happens so quick. Just jumps off the ledge, and nobody pays attention. Nothing gets said, and it's that scene that Donald Glover. It's the first close up transition to him where you're supposed to be like paying attention to him only, and then eventually the kids in the background, and that shows the guy just jump off the ledge. So. Pretty interesting.
No, definitely. So I liked that the video was like really artistic and like the composition was really cool and stuff. But for me, I didn't like the song because it was like 3 songs jammed into one song. So they kept on having like, it just seemed like the song was meant to be a video and not something that you like listen to over and over. And not supposed to be a top 20 like Post Malone or anything like that.
Yep. That's something I noticed too. In what everybody kept bringing up was just the juxtaposition. So like 2 completely separate things. Like when he's like dancing and happy and like talking about like money and all that stuff, when all this like chaos is happening. So I think it was probably done intentionally because like the song is definitely like upbeat and happy, but then there's like murder and all this like crazy shit.
So they like have the uplifting choir parts, and then it just goes back into the dark.
To like the trappy, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So for me, not like a great song, you know,
I really
regardless
love
of the content.
song. Compared to Redbone, which is like one of my favorite songs he's ever written, he won that Grammy for. He's Grammy Award winning.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really love the song, but I do love the video. I watched
the video. Was super cool. Like, big time.
I downloaded the video on Apple Music and watched it like every day on the elliptical.
Yeah, I think it is definitely meant to be more of a statement than, you know, being like a top 20 charting song or something like that.
I didn't get to catch Saturday. I'm wondering if Saturday is also that other song he played on SNL. I didn't get to catch the performance or any MP3 version of it. So I'm wondering how that song is.
It was good. I actually just watched the episode this weekend on Hulu. But so like his performance there on SNL was like SZA introduced the song, and then it was a pretty happy-go-lucky song. All the background dancers and stuff were wearing this shirt that said, like, Nana's 90th birthday on it, which I thought was weird. That probably has some sort of weird meaning to it. And then there were people sitting on the front of the stage drinking beer and, like, playing, like, a dice or, like, card game. Oh. And then he was just, like, dancing the whole time. And, like, it was strange. There's probably a lot of
Saturdays in Black America celebrating Nana's birthday, but also gambling. I don't know. That's interesting.
And like everybody had a red Solo cup in their hand, you know, like I don't know. it was
so much symbolism.
Yeah,
man.
we're 3 white dudes, so it's hard to get in the head of a black man.
Sure.
You know, I never had to experience any discrimination in that way. So we're not trying to sit here and act like we understand or know, you know, but we can try to empathize. That's kind of what we need more in the world, is more empathy, of course, at least in my opinion. So let's cap off this discussion real quick by talking about the ending. Let's talk about the ending. Nick's got some good notes on this. So the ending features a very, very wide camera angle of him standing on a car with SZA actually sitting on one of the cars. And these are all, again, like 1990s kind of beaten up, trashy cars. These are like, it's like a dozen of them, just all parked in like a circular form or whatever. And he's just standing on them. That's after he smokes a joint, lights a joint and walks towards it. And then I'll let you go and take it, Nick, where it features like the Get Out kind of scene.
Yeah, so that's something that when I read like one of these recap videos, there's so many recap videos about this, and there's probably so much that still hasn't even gotten uncovered yet. But one thing that I thought was awesome that I mentioned earlier was that the Daniel Kaluuya guy or whatever that was played the main character in Get Out introduced this song. He wasn't even part of SNL at all. He wasn't a guest or anything. He just introduced the song, which I thought was crazy. And then, so this last scene, he's running down like a dark hallway kind of. Corridor. And there's just a bunch of other people like follow. It's people, I'm not sure if it's people are chasing him, or if people are just running away with him. Like what exactly is going on there? There's so much interpretation, but
it's more like running away because he's freaking out and the other people are pretty like stone faced.
Yeah, stone faced.
You know, like
I was literally gonna say those exact words.
Okay, wow. But people were comparing that scene and it's kind of like a dark, hazy music as well. Like there's no lyrics or anything.
Is that
he's
Chance
just
the
running.
Rapper singing? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I don't know if it could be.
It sounds like Chance the Rapper singing "Black Man in America." Or, Black in America or something like that. Yeah. And then, that's the thing, is I think this is a transition into the next part of the film. This is all going to be like a short film, possibly.
It could be. But people were comparing that scene. You'd have to watch it, and if you've seen Get Out and you see this scene, you could definitely tell the comparison. But it seems like the sunken place from Get Out, where he's just like paralyzed. You know?
I want to watch that film again. I think I caught it in theaters. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I caught it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie, like hella good.
It's phenomenal. Top 3 for me from last year.
Yeah.
Tied with Billboards, 3 Billboards, and what else did I see last year I really loved? There's one more. I don't know why I can't think of it. Anyway, before we get off track here, super crazy. Yeah, he's like running. All you can see are his teeth and his eyes and his chain. I think that's interesting. I mean, when he's running, you can barely see his chest because it's dark, completely dark. He's black. Mm-hmm. There's barely any light on him. Yep. And then it opens up and you can see all these, like, it looks like all white people. These are all chasing him. I couldn't tell exactly because they're kind of blurry. The focus is on him, which is awesome.
They're all kind of dressed differently. I mean, like, it seemed like there was like a few suits in there, and then just like maybe it was all suits. I wasn't paying that close of attention to notice that, but it seemed like they were all kind of all walks of life chasing after the black man, you know.
Yeah, and all the kids in the film are wearing schoolgirl clothes. Right. So it's something else to keep in mind. Discussion this week in America for This Is America is insanely awesome. Like, there's so many examples and clips and students and teachers discussing this. I mean, you can see it on Twitter if you just search This Is America discussion. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of tweets showing students taking photos of their teachers' blackboards or their projectors or whatever that are just like, what do you guys see? What do you guys think about this? Yeah. Really awesome stuff. I mean, he's helping facilitate that discussion, which seems like we've been discussing since the 90s with the riots in LA or whatever. What's Rodney King? Yeah, the Rodney King trials. I mean, it seems like we've been discussing it since then. It has sparked up a lot with the Trayvon Martin and all these kids getting murdered, black kids. Yeah. But he's doing a good job stoking the fire for a discussion that we have to have. I mean, it's not like we're going to just get over slavery 100, 200, 300 years later, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not how it works, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's true. Like, there's still discrimination that happens without even us knowing it subconsciously.
Yeah, I heard something interesting that they were like enslaved for, what was it, 300, 400 years or something like that. And then like for people to think that the discrimination would end in like
that
30 years, 40 years, 50 years.
They just
like
got to
naive.
vote within our parents' lifetimes. Like,
yeah.
And by they, I don't mean to sound gross or weird, but African Americans just got the ability to vote within our grandparents' lifetimes. I believe women the same. Was it our parents or is our grandparents? Either way, it's within 1 or 2 generations. Black African Americans and women like just got those right that all of us white dudes out here always had. So it's just little things like that. So speaking of discrimination, do you guys have anything else you want to discuss? Kind of just to cap out this Is America music video.
I think that it's a great video that like does it in a non-finger pointing kind of way, brings up prejudice and stuff like that, where it's not making my white guilt too heavy to enjoy the video.
That's a good point.
Like, I think that he did a good job of being like, not friendly necessarily, but like, yo, this is what's happening without being like, you fucking asshole, you know?
So yeah, he's not pointing at white people. He's saying this is America. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, no, like including himself in the problem almost. You know what I mean? And
right.
That's kind of like the point of him being like the focal point, the celebrity, the dancer. Pay attention to me. He is part of the problem by being a celebrity. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and he's using his platform to basically explain that he's a distraction, but the video is like makes you think so much. It's great. I don't know.
I hope it wins awards. Nick, what do you
think it will.
It will.
So the video is insane. I love it. But did you see the video I posted? He was like, obviously he doesn't want to do it during a completely different interview, but like he was being interviewed for Solo because he's in the new Star Wars film. And the guy brought up the music video. He's like, can you explain what's going on? He's like, he just basically flat out was like, I don't need to explain anything. I don't want to explain anything. Like, there's nothing to explain. This is just for the people, and people can interpret it however they want.
That's so weird. I was just thinking the other day about how, like, with like Twitter and shit like that, any symbolism that's put into a music video is so easy to like find out the exact meaning, because it's like, okay, you can even like tweet like Blink-182 about like 90s songs, you know, and like get the meaning that you never knew as a kid.
Sure.
And like, I'm sure that it's just very accessible to like, okay, what's the meaning of this Post Malone song? Okay, it's on the internet, you know. And I was thinking it'd be really cool. Like, I was thinking this like 3-4 days ago, that it'd be really cool if there was an artist that's like, no, fucking figure it out. Like, I put this in here for you to think. I didn't put this in here to fucking just tell you. So fucking figure it out, dude.
Yep.
And I think that's awesome that he's not commenting on.
Pretty much, that's literally what he said. He's like, I don't need to say anything about it. You know, he basically was just like, you know, it's up to interpretation. It's up to your own interpretation, which I thought was awesome.
I think it was this week, maybe it was last week, but it was recently. I was also thinking about that, Trey, which is
dude, we're on the same wavelength.
That's really weird, because I was thinking about how I found out I was reading. So I read a lot of lyrics on the elliptical. That's actually what I usually do when I'm trying to lose weight, because I'm reading heavy metal, which I can't understand unless I get the lyrics. Right? So I'm listening to The Chariots, The Fiancé again, one of my favorite albums, heavier albums. I wouldn't call it heavy metal, but thrash, whatever. Noise. Yeah. I'm reading that album's lyrics again. There's a song in there that references like believing in God and stuff, and I'm like brought back to Josh Scogan. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He's freaking loves like God.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's super religious. And I'm like, well, I'm not. And I wasn't at the first moment I discovered that album, I think in 2009. So a couple years after it had come out in 2007. I was definitely not really believed in God at that point. I was probably agnostic. Those lyrics, without knowing that he's super into religion, believes in God, a Christian man, without knowing that, those lyrics can be interpreted almost as if he doesn't. Like, he's anti-religion. Just the way he's written and they're sung. I don't need to read the exact lyrics off, but that's just something else. Like, knowing something about the artist making, like, sometimes I really wish I didn't know as much about Radiohead or as much about all these artists, I really love their lyrics.
So they're more of like an ambiguous figure.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Title Fight is one of them. They don't do very many interviews at all. They don't explain their songs at all. And then on the other hand, La Dispute did an hour and a half long MP3, which I actually got on one of their like super VIP fan giveaway thing, or not giveaway things, but like when I subscribed to them and I listened to it, like explains Wildlife, their album that came out in 2011, in extreme depth, like to the point where like you understand exactly what Jordan Dreyer was going through writing that song, what he had experienced in his life to write that song. Almost all those songs are from real experiences he had read about or been a part of or like heard from somebody else, which I love. That's why that album means so much to me. But yeah, that's so right. Like, man, sometimes it's just better not to know anything about the artist at all. In like anything about the song or the music or the art they created to kind of like paint your own picture, apply it to your own self. Yeah.
No, definitely. I've always felt that way. The less you know, like kind of to tie it to video games, is like the Pokemon universe was so sick because there would just be little tidbits everywhere, like a little sign that like made you think about something weird and like, oh, maybe there's a Mew under this truck. You know what I mean? Just like weird like shit that doesn't complete the picture that makes it
do you have a good example at the forefront of your head right now?
For Pokemon, no. Like, I swear that they just, like, leave little messages on those signs sometimes that would be, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you, like... Before there was guides and shit, like basically saying to use a water stone on like X Pokemon, but like they just didn't give you the whole story, and I think that just makes it cooler.
The discovery aspect of it,
or like for example, when you like read the Pokemon's description when you catch them, and they're like weird stories,
sure,
like the ghost Pokemon or something.
Yeah, it's and not the full story.
Like, what the fuck does this mean? You know? Like,
okay, here's an example. So when you combine. So when you are going to Bill for the PC or whatever, and he's like combined himself with a Pokemon, and you can't really see what it looks like. It just looks like a standard like Pokemon thing, but like different than like I don't know what to say. Like different than the Pokemon that went in there. You just have this like thing in your head that's like, okay, what was that? You know? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Just like shit like that. That's. A whole picture isn't as beautiful as sometimes an unfinished picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. I think you're right. Pokemon is such a great example because we're playing on what was a 16-bit Game Boy Color eventually, and that world, 16-bit, like you had to draw the details in your head, right? Like it's not like it's a Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or PC these days where it's like the entire world is right there and there's no load screens. You had to draw that world out there, and so I would be in my backyard sometimes and be like, whoa, like this is like not Rainbow Road, but you know what I mean, like Victory Road. Like, my backyard had like a fence, and then it was like this area that was all mowed down, and like my friend and I would play. Oh my gosh, I just remembered something. My friend and I have journals and like stuff too, like that corroborates this story. But my friend and I came up with our own Pokemon called Dagobah, which apparently Dagobah is like a Star Trek or Star Wars thing.
Star Wars, the Dagobah system.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's where Luke meets up with Yoda.
No way.
Yeah, the Dagobah system. That's hilarious.
I was never into Star Wars. I watched my first Star Wars in Star Wars 3, Episode 3 in 2004 or 5 in a van on the way to a PTQ. Actually, yeah. But so yeah, we came up with our own Pokemon game, like real IRL. What's it called when you're doing things in the real world? With, LARPing. We were LARPing, dude.
Yeah, I did a lot of that as a child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Like, I feel like we do it nowadays. What the heck am I thinking? We do it with music festivals. Like, the girls take it to like more of extreme level than us guys generally, but we're gonna be doing it like in a funny way again with the rodeo theme. Like, we're all gonna have like space cowboy, intergalactic cowboy type gear on. Like, LARPing and dressing up and playing dress up essentially is still pretty tight.
Yeah, Halloween, it's fun. Getting out of your own little bubble's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
shit.
dudes. Oh man, I want to get into a pod. I know we don't have tons of time today because it's Mother's Day. We all have things to do, whether it's food prep and cleaning and what spending time with family or whatever. But we should definitely have a podcast where I show you guys like this, because my friend,
that'd be great.
I bet that would be a sick like rabbit hole or lemon hole as you guys call it.
Yeah. So like that could be its own podcast, the lemon hole. That could be like honestly the next phase of the EZPZ.
Yeah, man.
So but anyway, we like just talk about like something that we did that was really crazy as a kid. Maybe I don't know.
Oh my god, that could be really fun.
That would be great.
I mean, like maybe no one would care, but I mean, like at the same time, it'd be really fun to do. You know,
and it doesn't even have to be like something like LARPing like I did. Like there's a story that I always think about when I'm thinking back to as like listening to people tell stories of on podcasts or whatever when they were kids of Greg Miller, who's internet's Greg Miller, used to be IGN's biggest like host editor ever. Then he went on and he has his own company now called Kind of Funny. Anyway, I've been following him for literally 10 years. Like he's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to IGN, work at IGN. As a kid, as a teenager, essentially, now an adult. And anyway, he always tells this story on his podcast whenever he's talking about how stupid, dumb kid he was when he was 4 years old. He used to pee in Dixie cups and throw the pee behind his like his desk.
I've heard you say this story before, yeah.
So he just had pee splatter all over, like behind his like dresser or whatever. And it's just like one of those stupid things. As a 4-year-old kid, you don't know how stupid. Like, it makes no sense, but it's still
I'm
funny
sure we
to,
all
like,
have
hear.
a similar
Exactly,
story.
like-
very, very similar.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just thinking about smashing your nuts into like a dresser just to see if you feel something.
That could be a podcast, is like going back on like times you peed in places that you
my
should have
gosh.
never peed.
Man, I never really got too crazy into that.
I was never really big into peeing.
I peed like outside, which is always actually really refreshing and feels great. It always feels better, you know?
Yeah.
Man,
You just get the breeze on your little balls. And
Dude, at Electric Forest 2015, I think it was, before they like, because they do better every year with the bathrooms, I believe.
yeah.
Like the porta potties and stuff are better every single year. But Electric Forest 2015, they had not enough porta potties. Right, it was definitely the worst of the all 4 or 5 now this year, 5 years that we've been. And there were dudes that were just going behind the porta potties, just pissing all over the place. Like just tons more guys just peeing.
Piss.
Yeah, but it's still like you could, if you were at a certain angle, like towards the stage, you could see everyone's dicks just sitting there.
Free love, man. Isn't what that shit's about, man? Isn't
I mean,
about, like expressing yourself and
no.
having a good time.
We got not too much to chat about. We have some stuff we'd like to get into for the next 10 minutes before we cut it. But so just speaking on, let's transitioning from This Is America, the huge discussion on discrimination in America right now. Let's give an update on the whole Starbucks situation. So those 2 black men that were discriminated against on inside of Starbucks. I don't know if you were a part of that podcast, Trey. Yeah. Nick, were you?
Yeah.
Okay. So a few episodes ago, we talked about in April how 2 black men were waiting for their white friend at a Starbucks and they didn't buy anything. They were just there to actually discuss big boy stuff, which is actually a real estate deal. They're putting together a real estate deal. So the white guy was late. The black guys had been sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, had not purchased anything. They were told to leave. They said, no, we are doing nothing wrong. We're in a Starbucks here in Philadelphia and we want to stay here. I mean, we're not going to leave. So they get the cops called on them. They get arrested, taken to jail. It's on the internet. It's freaking Starbucks is getting dragged like for an entire week. The police chief of Philadelphia is actually a black man. He was defending his police officers, as he should do as a good boss. But as a better boss, you would recognize that your direct reports did not really do a great job. Anyway, he comes out later on in the week, after a week following this whole situation. He apologizes and he says, yes, they were wrong. Anyway, long story short, Starbucks is going to have on May 29th, I believe, close down all of their Starbucks. All Starbucks own Starbucks, right? Is that
a shit ton of them, like 8,000 or something.
It's a crazy amount to have discrimination and bias like training. So update, they get $200,002. There we go.
Yeah. Why is it $2?
I'll tell you. So each of the black men took $1 as like their actual lawsuit payout from the city of Philadelphia, and then the $200,000 is going to a fund, school and younger high school students entrepreneur ideas. So they're turned a horrible situation into a possibly an amazing situation. Just think about that, like 20 kids getting 10 grand to like pursue an entrepreneur an idea, or even 200 kids getting 1,000.
Yeah,
it's just cool. Awesome. Yeah. Update on it is, hey, some good came from it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's a ridiculous story, though. I mean,
yeah.
White people being late, getting black people arrested again.
I know, dude.
Let me tell you, it happens to me twice a week.
Wait, you mean you make it happen?
No, I was just joking. Yeah, like I'm late and kids get arrested because of it.
Yeah, no kidding. So crazy story. Got to give that update though. So yeah, let's close out the podcast. Discuss what we did this week. We're going to do next week. What's going on with you guys? Throw it to you, Nick.
Nothing really. Just been focusing on the diet and workouts.
Still doing good, huh?
That. Yeah.
Do you have a workout plan you've been following on bodybuilder.com then? Or
I have been, yeah.
Been lifting?
Yep.
Doing lots of lifting?
Getting back to lifting.
Every day I try to lift or do kettlebells. So every day I've been flipping on free weights or kettlebells. I've been murdering it too.
I've been murdering it. Just
been feeling pretty good. Trey, what do you got?
I've just been doing a lot of binge eating and then passing out at like 7 p.m.
Dude, yes. It's real.
Working, leaving work early to play video games. Just like really living the life.
Yeah.
Like living the Vita Loca, you know?
Living the Vita Loca.
Yeah.
Dude, passing out early
Fortnite
is a
had Thanos in this week. What was up with that?
So there was a limited time, like Fortnite's really cool about like once a month putting in like a limited time game. And basically this time you can solo queue it's a standard battle royale, but a meteor falls on the map where the Infinity Gauntlet lies. And if you pick up the Infinity Gauntlet, you transform into Thanos. Damn. And then basically Thanos, you get like quadruple your health, just like crazy. It's like been compared to Juggernaut from Halo. Which
Oh, cool.
Basically where you're fighting against someone way stronger than you, but you're allegedly on a team. But in this situation, you're still fighting everyone that's not Thanos.
Right.
So there's a lot of backstabbing going on in this session.
So if you kill Thanos, do you get to pick up the gauntlet?
Yeah, so if you kill Thanos, he drops the gauntlet. If no one picks it up within like 3 minutes or something like that, a new meteor will fall with the gauntlet again, giving people another choice. And there's like a thing on the compass that shows like where the gauntlet is, if that's what's out, or where Thanos is, and like a little ding on your mini map that shows where he's at and stuff.
Okay, so you know where he is at all times. That's cool.
Yeah. So
that does sound really fun.
Yeah, it is. It is fun. There's like some crazy shit about it. Like you can't build against him at all because he'll just like punch through your buildings and like he can jump into the sky and laser beam you. And recently they had to like dial it back and nerf him, so they made his attack stronger but made his health pool smaller. Okay. Because if you get a kill as Thanos, your shields fully regenerate, but your health doesn't. Okay. So like if you're getting really run, you can still die pretty easy, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's cool.
Cool.
And then there's a 50 versus 50 out now too.
Oh, wow.
So if you're tired of losing, you have like a 50-50 chance of winning,
Nice.
For all the scrubs.
So still, if you still die like 98, then you still have to watch just to see if you win, or do you have to sit there?
So if you want the win, if you die like early on and you want the win, you do have to sit through it. So if you leave the lobby or the spectating, it won't give you the win, but that's just to prevent people from like joining a million squad games and leaving to get
showing
wins.
They have a bunch of wins. Yeah,
I like that. I think that's you could just join, die instantly, and then 50-50.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just leave the game even. You don't even have to.
So it counts as a loss if you leave.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Fortnite always giving out, doing some cool things. Got awesome stuff going on. Flash came out in Arena of Valor this week.
Okay. Is that what it is? Like a superhero? Because I remember you saying
they have a
about
partnership
Superman.
with DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they have Superman, Wonder Woman, the Joker, and Flash in the U.S. region, and I believe in Europe they have Batman.
Yeah,
so
I picked the wrong franchise, man. Like, I mean, I'm a DC fan personally, but I mean, if they're trying to sell shit, like. Fortnite's got it right with the Marvel partnership. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Arena of Valor is not even in the top 10 grossing like games monthly, so it's not like it's a humongous game. They're making tons of money, I'm sure, but it's not like League of Legends, Dota, Fortnite, any of those. Even Dota's not in the top 10. What am I saying? Overwatch.
Yeah.
So recapping just the food truck throwdown, it was really rad to go out there and volunteer with the social club. There was a lot of hesitation in the beginning of the day as far as like how are things gonna go. and so forth with all the rain here in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so it was raining while we were setting up. We got there at 10, Alex Beward and I, Alex Bush, and we started setting out recycling bins and trash and just getting chairs, just doing that kind of stuff to help set up. And it was raining like really bad.
Yeah.
We were like, what the heck? I wanted to actually go to Walmart, buy like 15 ponchos and sell them for $5 each.
Yeah.
Make $4 profit. But I decided not
Pull a
to.
Forest.
Ran out of time. No, Riot Fest.
Riot Fest.
I did that
Yeah.
Riot Fest, yeah.
Sean the opportunist.
Didn't do that, but I'm glad I didn't because it stopped raining. It didn't even rain again. Right at 11, so the doors open. There was a good amount of people that ended up showing up throughout the day. I did a lot of like live video and stuff for the EZPZ Instagram, so definitely check out the EZPZ on Instagram, Twitter, but primarily Instagram for that story. You can see us on Facebook too. I do the Facebook and Instagram story, which is really cool. Take advantage of. So there was a good chunk of people, but it was really chilly, really windy, especially in the viaduct area where the wind just plows through. Awesome though, really good food. Taza, the food truck, ended up winning, I think, the entire thing, and that's who I wanted to vote for because he was I thought it was the owner at first, but I don't think it was. I guess I found out it wasn't the owner. He was just a really cool guy that worked there, running the register. He was actually handing out free samples throughout the whole day. Super personable, awesome dude. So I'm glad to hear Taza won.
Nice.
And then Cornbread ended up getting top 3, and they were awesome. Cornbread BBQ out of Ames, Iowa. So really good stuff. Really good time. Lots of good food. I ate tons of food. Horrible. Just like Trey was saying, we got home and I went to bed like almost immediately. I just fell asleep. I felt like horrible.
I felt like so much guilt. Oh my god! Like shamelessly, like I didn't want to pay the $5 to get in just to like grab it and leave, you know. So I was like, well, you know, I mean, a $10 Chipotle burrito is gonna be a yes for me, dog.
And Gail went.
Gail didn't eat. She didn't eat. She just like wanted me to get her like a blackberry. She was pretty drunk, but
yeah, it was a really short day for us. I mean, I started drinking at 2 when I got done with my volunteer shift, and I was done by 4 or 5.
Yeah,
right? We were home before 5.
Nice.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. Yeah, guys. So where can they find you, Nick? Let's just close out the pod.
Bazooka_Nick on Instagram. That's about it right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it with that.
Yeah, Bazooka_Nick. Nick Gandy are on Facebook, though, because I've been, have some posts scheduled, actually, that will be promoted.
Okay, well, Nick Gandy.
So you got to post that, talk about that. Trey, how about you?
Twitch.tv/TotallyTrey, Totally_Trey on Instagram, Totally.Trey on Twitter. I think that was right. That was right? Yeah. Totally_Trey on Twitter, Totally.Trey on Instagram. Yeah, and I got a new compilation video up on YouTube. It's like March, April, best of Totally Trey clips. It's in really low quality, like I said last week, but whatever.
Yeah, but May's will be better because you got some...
Yeah, May's is going to be good. I don't know, man. I've been playing games that don't really lend themselves to the clips that I've been doing lately. Like, I've been playing a lot of WoW, and it's just, like, not as clip oriented, so it's probably going to be another couple months till the next one comes out, just because it's going to be way less density of me screaming.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Totally, Trey.
Yeah, totally.
Find me at Sean S. Johnson. Find the Easy Peasy at the Easy Peasy on everything. Be on the lookout for the next podcast, the new show that we are going to be putting out through the EZPZ network, which is Sean and Lydia's Happy Hour, where we have a part 1 episode already recorded discussing Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus. An awesome book. I've been listening to it on Audible. Lydia has been reading the hard copy. So yeah, we're going to be producing more shows, trying to get more stuff out there, of course. I'm going to be bringing this stuff to the festivals, especially Cosmic Kingdom. I'm bringing all the actual equipment, I think.
Oh, snap.
Since it's just a driving to Sleepy Hollow and whatnot. It won't take very much room or anything just to bring all this, and we can just hold the mics maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to see how it goes.
That'd be sweet.
Look for more episodes, more podcasts, more shows on the Easy Peasy Network. This has been EZPZ Podcast, episode 77, and we out.
Yo.
I gotta do